change, sustainability, and equality. So, today we have among us our speaker, Professor K. Parameswaran, and he is going to give insights on peace, justice, and strong institution. So, let me have this honor to introduce you today's speaker. Uh, Professor Dr. Parameswaran is a professor of law and former dean of academics at Gujarat National Law University, Gujarat. He taught at NLS-IU Bangalore, NLU Jodhpur, Madras University, and SLS Pune. He pioneered a law subject, law, religion, spirituality, and justice, and ethics skills development program for professional integrity and excellence. He is a master trainer in neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral psychotherapy, and integrated clinical hypnotherapy and solution-focused brief therapy. He is in the advisory board of project for integrating spirituality, law, and politics in USA. Also a former governing board member of Aroville Foundation, Government of India, and UNESCO and World Commission on Environmental Law, International Consortium for Law and Religion, with interest in interfaith dialogue and conflict mitigation, Vedic studies, and Indian heritage. He lectures in India and abroad on spirituality, education, and legal and justice research, keeping integral consciousness approach for individual and collective well-being. He conducts various FDPs, workshops, trainings for students, advocates, judicial officers, PhD scholars using spiritual, legal, and psychological knowledge. He writes on these themes and contemporary issues. He is very positive and enthusiastic about education and research as a means for ushering our new humanity and society a peaceful and a promising future. So we all welcome you, sir, in today's session. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam. It's a great honor for me to be a part of this executive development program by your esteemed university. And the theme given to me is peace, justice, and strong institutions. I request all the participants to pay attention to what I'm saying, because what I'm going to discuss is something in one way very personal to all of us. But the very fact it is very personal to all of us, we tend to disregard that. We do not bring that in the social domain. We do not bring that in the world context or legal context. To give a simple point, there is no one in the earth who would say, I don't want peace. Everybody wants peace. And if that is denied, they feel some kind of an injustice. And they look up to structures, systems, and institutions that it is your duty to provide a peace for me, a peace of me, or peace surrounding me, failing which there is no justice in my life or justice to my life. As a result of which, what are we doing? This everybody would ask this question. In every circumstance in our daily life, be it in the house or in the university or in an organization or in our interpersonal relations or with students or research, whatever that we do, we always aim for one thing, is peace. Some people like peace of mind. Some people like peace of surroundings. Some people like peace of emotions. Some people like peace in work. But in all these things, there is this constant human seeking for peace. And the moment that is denied, they feel an injust or an unjust, and they immediately look for a strength which can give that peace. Immediately look for a power that can give you the peace. And currently, the strength and the power which can give to us is to look up to a system, look up to a structure, look up to some kind of an organization where that peace process can take place. To give you an example, if I am not peaceful in the house, I would immediately look up to my father or mother. Where is it? What happened? Why? I immediately ask them why it is happening like this. It is your duty to look into it. Or if I go to my university and fight with somebody else, and then when I come back home, I feel, oh, what is that I have done? It's not peaceful. It's not feeling nice. And then I blame the organization, I blame the people on the road, I blame everyone. So peace individually, peace collectively, and peace in work is something which we all are constantly seeking. Now, I have to tell you a very interesting thing. The Indian Constitution also has this word peace. Before I explain what it is, there are two definitions to peace. One is positive peace, another is the negative aspect of the peace. What is that? Negative aspect of the peace means, for example, I am sitting and giving a lecture. I have switched off the calling bell in my house so that I don't get disturbed, so that I can do things peacefully. So the negative aspect of the peace is nothing but absence of disturbance. Very important, which is exactly what we recognize normally, generally, universally as peace. Absence of disturbance. I walk on the road, I need to be safe. I go to work and I need to work peacefully. Don't trouble me, don't disturb me. We look up to that, we want that. This is one aspect of it. Second aspect of the peace is the positive peace. Okay, I have switched off the calling bell and it's not going to bother. Nobody is going to call, or even if somebody is going to press the bell, I'm not going to hear and I can still talk. But I need to be peaceful, which means I need to be internally peaceful. I need to be not at all agitated. I need to be in a state of calm, in a state of quiet. Okay, I have switched off the calling bell and it will not trouble me. But if I sit here and then continuously worry whether I will be able to give a lecture, whether I can answer all the questions, whether I know this, whether I know that, whether this lecture will go well or not, that is nothing but an absence of a state of calm, an absence of a state of quiet, which is again bothering me, which is again disturbing my peace. So peace consists of two things. One is peace as something which is coming from outside, which is exactly what the legal system is supposed to do. The law says peace is equal to order. When I go on the road, when I walk on the road, I need to be peaceful, means there has to be an order. The road has to be proper, the light has to be proper, there should be safety, there should be security mechanism and so on. So there should not be any intrusion in my life. But afterwards, if there is no intrusion and if I still walk with fear, that means I don't have peace within myself. So the two aspects of the peace is the peace within and the peace from outside. Both are equally important. Some stress on the peace within, some stress on the peace from the external source. We all have to understand this. Sometimes we all are very peaceful, or we all want peace, so much peace. But we will be either seeking this by sacrificing this or compromising this. And then once this is over, when we come back, we suddenly lose this. So the real justice to the human being is a peace from within as well as a peace from outside. I repeat again, a real justice to a human well-being is a peace from within as well as a peace from outside. If you do this, if you get these two, peace from within as well as peace from outside, then it becomes very easy to live a life. It becomes very easy to sustain our life. And it becomes very simple to lead our life happily. And we feel everything is just, everything is justice. Now, whatever that I have spoken for the 5 minutes has given you an understanding of peace from the point of view of society, peace from the point of view of individuality, peace from the point of view of a combination of both. Again, I repeat, very important. You have to follow me very carefully because these are very subtle thoughts which we can very easily miss. Peace from within and peace from outside. Peace.
Participants, please mute yourself.
So peace from within and peace from outside, both are required to live a life of meaningness, which we can call it as justice. Surprisingly, or I can even say unfortunately, we have not handled the dual aspect of the peace in a balanced way. Either peace outside, that is peace from outside is more important, or peace from within is more important than the other. So as a result of which imbalance comes. Now, how do we connect this with law, legal institutions, structure, justice, and so on? Take the preamble of the Indian Constitution. What does that say? It says, we, the people of India, we, the people of India, having solemnly, use the word, please refer to the word, listen to the word, having solemnly, what is that solemn? It's actually a peace. We have consciously decided, we have mindfully decided, we have decided with full awareness that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure its citizens justice, social, economic, and political. And how is that justice, that is economic, social, and political? Equality in terms of opportunity and equality of status, then liberty, freedom of thought, speech, worship, belief, fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual, in unity, integrity, and the preamble gets over. Where is this sense of peace in this? You can see both aspects of the peace. The reason why I'm going slightly deeper and psychological is that sometimes students ask these questions. We have the preamble. We have solemnly resolved to constitute India into this, and we want this, we want that. Why we are not able to achieve it? It's because we have solemnly resolved to constitute, and the theory is very clear. And in the theory, we are taking only one aspect or one angle of peace. To secure its citizens, justice, which is social, economic, political, is a peace that comes from outside, which the state is supposed to do. State is supposed to give. But what about the first word? We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved. That means we are confident. That means we have resolved. That means we are conscious. That means we are mindful. That means we are aware. Which means what? If you are aware, if you are conscious, if you are mindful, means you must be peaceful. Can you make a statement which is irrelevant? Can you make a statement which is insensible? Can anyone make a statement that is nonsensical? We will say, what is this? What is going on? You are not at order. Are you okay? We ask. Are you okay? What does that mean? You are not at your own sense of self. I don't know what I am doing. I don't know what I am talking. Which means I don't know what I am, who I am. I am not at peace with myself. That is why we are talking like this. A mad person or a person of unsound mind. Why he is blabbering something? Because he is not at peace with himself. He has not yet achieved a stability or a balance within himself to understand what is what. So when we say we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute, that means we have consciously made an attempt, which means we have mindfully made an attempt, we have with full awareness made an attempt, and that too it's very solemn, very sober, very sacred. All that implies a state of peace. Only from the state of peace from within, after that, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and so on, and then we assure citizens what? Justice. The title of the EDP today given to me was Peace, Justice, and Institutions. And to secure, what do you secure? Justice. But when will you secure? Only when you are yourself. Only when the nation is its own self, her own self. Nation means what? You and me. You and me means what? The society. The society means what? The community. Community means what? All the citizens who are living in this territory. So, when we say peace, justice, and strong institutions, it refers to both the psychological peace from within as well as the social state of peace outside. And then keep in mind, it says very clearly, peace within becomes very important, as a result of which we, the people of India, it is we who have committed to, we who have solemnly resolved to. We need, it's we who have to decide that. Take the case. I will give you different aspects of peace. I request participants to raise hands and talk, put messages. If you want to share your comments, please put them in the chat. If you want to ask a question, just drop your questions on that. Let's discuss it. Take the case of a contract, or take the case of, say, any commercial law. When does a commercial law or a contract law or a private law originate? Only when there is a voluntary consent. What does that voluntary consent mean? A willing, volitional consent mean? A consent means something which is conscious. So what are you conscious of? You are conscious of yourself. You are conscious of your relation with others. And that is peace. Peace means an absence of the state of disturbance from outside, as well as the presence of a quiet and a calm, in which you are understanding everything, what is happening to you and what is happening outside. So consent, a good consent is originating when there is a state of peace in mind. Take the case. I will give you another example. I am giving you different examples from psychology, different examples from law, constitution, international law, precisely to bring a kind of a multidisciplinary approach to this most important topic. I am very happy that I was given this topic, but these are all the ideas which I live for. I don't know who has selected this topic, who has given this idea to this title. I am not aware of it. I don't know. But the title was, when I saw the title and when I received the mail and when I saw the title, I said, my God, this is something very different. Somebody has put a thought. then I readily agreed. Otherwise, I would not have agreed because given my change of subject to something totally different. But then this subject again, this theme, today's theme again brought me into that with that link. So peace is there. Peace needs to be protected. Any disturbance coming from outside needs to be prevented. And then your state of peace must be a conscious peace so that you also participate in the peace so that the whole society becomes peaceful. And that gives the sense of justice to not only to you, but also to everyone. And for that, we need a strong institution. I will tell you in the end what, for me, strong institution means. It is just not a structure or a system. Strong institution means a meaningful interpretation of people who are in respective institutions. That is where the strength comes. I consider that as the strong institution. One who makes the maximum meaning is a leader. One who makes the maximum understanding in an organization, holding a bigger portfolio, is the most meaningful person, is the most peaceful person. So to come back, in contract also we talk of peace. I'll give you another example. You know, in the private international law contract, which somebody said private international law is one of the subjects, Madam told, we have two principles called the intention theory and the nexus theory. In two different foreign jurisdictions, if two people enter into a contract, one from A country A, another from country B, to the delivery of goods in, say, country C, and the payment will be made in country D, if such kind of situations arise, and if the contractual clause or the agreement is not very clear, the court goes by two methods. Method one is, what was the intention of the parties? What exactly was the intention when the contract was concluded? And if the intention is not decipherable, what they say is that find out the intention by connecting the elements which can have a real and substantial connection. Please pay attention again. If I'm entering into a contract with you, an agreement with you, and my intention and your intention are very clear, but it came out to be in such a way that it is not very clear which way the intention is going on, whether it is my way or your way. So the court or a reasonable interpretation is such that where there is a possible nexus to the elements that are possible, a real and substantial connection. So when we say real and substantial connection, that is called the nexus theory, and also the intention theory, which is nothing but a conscious intention, which is nothing but evolutional consent. It is actually nothing but a state of peace. Clear? So peace is something very essential for not only the individuals, but also for the external life. But the legal system, I saw some of the topics in the EDP. They were talking about future, if I can just quickly say, introduction to sustainability, equality in higher education, promoting equality in higher education, reduced inequality, strategies, promoting diversity, inclusion. So many topics were there. Why are we doing all these things, if I can ask you a question? Why do we bring these kind of higher themes of a deeper dimension? Of course, we all know that that is how the life is supposed to be. We need to live totally, meaningfully, completely. But we are not able to live, so we are actually regenerating those insights in such a way that we live for that. And that axis lies in the state of peace. If everyone is peaceful, both from within as well as from outside, the diversity is handled. The discrimination is reduced. It's a lack of peace from within oneself as well as a lack of peace from outside. So I can say that even in the Article 51 of the Indian Constitution, which says the state shall endeavor to promote. What is that? It says that state shall endeavor to promote international peace, security. And two, it can maintain just and honorable relations between nations. And third, foster respect for international and treaty obligations in dealing with organized peoples with one another and encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. You see the state of peace in different stages. First of all, it is promoting peace. The state shall endeavor to promote peace. So we are actually keeping peace as the value. Indian Constitution, Article 51. Then it says, we not only promote peace. You know, why do we need to promote peace? As I said, why do we all look for peace? Because our state of nature is peace. We have forgotten that. We are not conscious of that. We are not aware of that. We are not mindful of that. So we are doing anything and everything, as a result of which we are creating disturbance outside as well as disturbance within for ourselves. It is because we know that we were in a state of peace, but we have lost and forgotten, and we have moved outside the zone of peace. So we are looking for peace. That is why the Constitution says that we must endeavor to promote peace first. Is it something of a value which was created that we need to do it? No, it is not a created value. Yeah, we can say it is a created value, but how did you create? Why did you create this value? Because it already exists, but we have forgotten. It already exists and we have forgotten. So let us promote that. So you will be able to promote only the thing which you will be able to achieve. Otherwise, you will not promote. Can we all make a law saying that all human beings, state should promote everyone to fly up against the gravity? Not possible. We don't do that because technically not possible. Truth-wise not possible. We can't fly. So we can only say what we can do. We can only say what we already have. We can talk about only a thing which can make meaning to us, which is there inside us. That is why it is making meaning to us. As a result of which we need to talk about that. So the state shall endeavor to promote peace. And there is one interesting discussion that came in Constitutional Assembly debates. Constitution has a word called strive. You know, in the DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy, it says that the state shall strive to attempt to promote the welfare of the people by securing order, social, economic, political, and so on. So when this word was discussed in the Constitutional Assembly, why this word strive has come? What does that mean? So Ambedkar gave a very interesting explanation to the word strive. It is there in the Constitutional Assembly debate. He says the word strive, which occurs in the draft constitution, is very important. We have used it because our intention is, even when there are circumstances which prevent the government or which stand in the way of the government giving effect to these directive principles, they shall, even under hard and unpropitious circumstances, always strive in fulfillment of these directives. That is why we have used the word strive. Otherwise, it would be open to any government to say that the circumstances are so bad, that the finances are so inadequate, that we cannot make an effort in the direction in which the Constitution asks us to go. Do you understand now? So to strive for peace, first is to strive for a value, and second is to strive to make an attempt for peace. It's so important, and you need to do that. And he has put that as a DPSP principle. Many times people say that DPSP is non-justiciable. No, it is actually not like that. Non-justiciable in a court of law because of a particular procedure it talks about. But it is the most justiciable thing. Otherwise, how will you give a direction to life? How will you give a direction to state? 38 also says it shall be the duty of every state. It shall be the duty. So, when we say that state shall endeavor to promote peace, that means peace is a value. Two, to maintain just and honorable relations. Why do we need to maintain? Because it already exists. It is not that we need to create. If you say that it needs to be created, then people will create in such a way that peace will not be there. So which means what? State A, state B, state C, state D, if they have to maintain honorable relations with each other and they shall endeavor to promote peace and security, means let them be where they are, what they are. Let each and every state be where they are. What does that mean? Let them be in a state of a quiet, in a state of a calm, in a state of a peace, which means what? Nobody should disturb the other states. Nobody should enter into other states' affairs. If you read Article 2 of the United Nations Charter, which talks about the principles based on which each and every member state of the United Nations, they have come together under the United Nations body. If you see, it talks about Article 2 founding principles: equality of states, sovereign equality of states, the principle of good faith, to help each other, not to use force or threat to use force. And there is one interesting thing, Article 2+3 and 2+7. It talks about peace, both positive and negative. 3 says that not to use force or threat to use force. 2+7 says don't interfere in others' domestic jurisdiction. Each and every state is told that you have no right to interfere in any other state. Of course, it goes without saying, most of the developed nations, they poke their nose into other states. It has become like this. That is why this philosophy came, that you are not supposed to enter into others' affairs to see what they are doing. What they call it as intervening into the domestic jurisdiction of other states. It is basically to prevent. Leave them in their state of peace. Provided, 6 says that, provided it says that they are not at peace, so they are not only not at peace, they are creating imbalance in other states, then you may have to interfere. That is a different issue under chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. So, to come back again, the state shall promote peace, it can maintain just and honorable relations, and then it also says foster respect for law, international law, in dealings with organized peoples with one another, not a chaotic people with one another. What does that mean? What is a state? State means a definite territory, a defined population, a defined territory, a definite population, a government, and finally, 4, capacity to enter into international relations. These are according to Montevideo Convention, 1933, Article 1. Here it says that kindly go and respect others. Not only respect others, foster positively a respect for others with people who are organized. That means who are an organized state, which means who are peaceful to themselves. Who are peaceful to themselves. If they are peaceful to themselves in an organized way. So one more definition of peace we are getting. The initial peace is the absence of disturbance. The second angle of peace is psychological, is nothing but a state of calm and quiet. And the third angle of the peace which comes from the Indian Constitution is we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved. Then the commercial law also talks of peace through conscious consent, intention, nexus. All these are peace. Then promote that as a value under Article 51. Foster respect, maintain what is already there. In all these things, we get various definitions of peace. But we are not using the term peace. But when it comes to interpretation of it, we always use the term peace. One state can interfere with other states positively if that other state is in an organized way, not in a chaotic and a disorganized way. Which means what? If the state is disorganized and very chaotic, very anarchic, then they will not be peaceful themselves and they will be not peaceful to others. You are not supposed to have any relation with them. Clear? So to come back again. So peace consists of different meanings. Peace from within, peace from outside. Peace is a conscious collaboration. Then peace is a form of security. Peace in the form of intention. Peace in the form of a reasonable nexus and relationship. Peace in the form of a value which is to be promoted. Peace in the form of what is already existing as a status quo. Then peace, nothing but respecting others. Then peace, finally, encouraging settlements, what they call it as the pacific settlement of disputes. Which means in the pacific settlement of disputes, there are 6 to 7 categories which the UN Charter talks about. How you have to resolve your disputes. Number one, we all know is ADR, in which comes mediation, conciliation, facilitation, good office, negotiation, arbitration. No, I have explained this much. You need to keep one thing in mind. If ever you are interested in legal profession, find out for yourself which aspect of peace is attracting you. There are some people who can work for peace by preventing or petitioning before the court or going to the government or even going up to the parliament or the legislature, not to allow a particular thing which can create disturbance. This is one way of doing things. Another way of doing things is to prevent, instead of preventing the disturbances coming to the peace, if it is happening still and it has happened already, there are people who are creating a peace situation. So, peace which comes from the point of view of preventing any kind of a disturbance, and peace which comes from the aspect of having the peace got disturbed, you recorrect it. You know, I have been teaching last 24 years. Many a times, I always teach final year students. Many a times the students ask, sir, I'm very much interested in law. Okay, very good. What do you want? No, I thought of doing this, but I don't know whether to do it or not. What do you want to do? No, litigation. Then why are you not going for it? Is money an issue? Yeah, if money an issue, that is a different aspect to deal with. But they say that I can't, there are some people I have seen. I can't face people who are fighting with each other. I don't like that. I have seen this. There are some people who would like to remain in a state of quiet and calm. They can't see or observe or absorb the conflicting energies in front of them. They also feel disturbed. We are so empathetic. We absorb. Instead of observe, I used to say, observe, don't absorb. Keep a distance. Just look at it. But some people can do it, some people can't do it. So for them, I used to say, you should consider peace lawyering. You should consider advocacy from the point of view of healing, bringing peace. So many people have such skills. They are excellent communicators. In such a way they communicate, they feel so nice in the clients. They feel the confidence. They get the confidence back. They may not even file a case. They are willing to negotiate. They are willing to mediate. They are willing to compromise. Perfect. That is peace lawyering. Why people are not doing it? We have this notion, a wrong understanding. Lawyering and advocacy means handling conflicts and so on. Yeah, some people can do that. Some people can handle it. Not everybody. This is a very, very important point. I request everyone to pay attention because this will be very useful. We all have this kind of personality inside us. Which one should I take? This or that? We have that aspect. I used to say for some people, when they say that, no, sir, I don't like to see conflicts in front of. I can't face people whose energies are disturbed, whose energies are agitated. I don't want to get into that. Fine. So don't lose the legal profession itself for that purpose. You know, I come from a family of lawyers. I'm a fourth generation lawyer. My father was practicing in the civil side. My grandfather was practicing in the criminal side. For me, initial days when I used to go to court with them and see the sessions court and so on, I used to feel slightly with my dad. Oh my God. So these are people, you know, that energy of a very strong vitality, very strong energy, which I can't take it. I am one person who would like to create peace. But those who have disturbed peace, to handle them, you require a different skill. It took a little time for me to understand that. I went through both the positive side of the peace as well as the negative side of the peace, which is the absence of it to prevent any disturbance coming. You need strength. Not all can do that. Some people who can remain calm and quiet and bring peace in the situation. The way they talk is so beautiful. I used to tell them, why are you actually fighting? You are meant for something else. We have a capacity to heal the clients. We have a capacity to bring peace. And they say, sir, will I get my clients? Will I get money? Of course, we will get. Not that everybody, not every client is interested in going to the court. So keep this in mind. When we talk about peace and justice, clients come with different idea of peace, different idea of justice. You don't need to drag every client to a court. They may not like it. I've seen that with my father. You know, he was, though I mean, 30 years back it was, that time mediation and all was not that popular, but he was an excellent mediator. He would sit and talk. Both the parties come, the whole family come. He said, what happened? Why you all are fighting? What is the issue? 15, 20 minutes, he will explain things. Then he will take some inputs from them. He will take some inputs from them. And then he will say, these are the cost benefit analysis that you can do. This is how it will be. If you fight for this ancestral property, this will happen, that will happen. But your relationship will go. These are the issues. So he will move from the social to the economic to the psychological and slowly bring. If you still want me to take you to go to the court, yes, fine, I can take. But consider all these things. Of course, he would get charged for also. He would take the money also. Why would somebody spend a lot of energy, intention, good intention, passion, everything, and then not take money? You should take money. So I tell students, don't think that if you sit and talk and heal a person and talk nicely, please keep in mind, not everyone can talk nicely. Doesn't mean that people will talk aggressive. To speak nicely, to speak softly, and to speak peacefully in a healing way is an art. You should not lose that. I have been advocating peace advocacy and peace lawyering for certain types of students, especially after I studied, cognitive behavioral psychotherapy, neurolinguistics, then solution therapy, and then hypnotherapy to various levels. For 6 years, I studied the human behavior, how it works. Then I added my own spiritual practices, drawing strength from different religions and so on. It helped me a lot. And I used to say, no, don't do this. You have a different potential. You don't need to struggle the same way others are struggling. If XYZ has got this job or he has got this lawyering position or advocacy position because somebody was helping him or someone has got a corporate law firm job and you are left out, don't worry. If this is your energy, this is your skill, make use of it in this way. So again, I'm quickly giving a recap. Peace from outside, peace from within, preventing the disturbance coming from outside so that your peace is not disturbed, and then remaining in peace and then actively extending this peace outside you. Then we have constitution, then we have international law, then we have various private laws. In all, peace plays a very important role. Clear? So today's take home point for all of you is that explore this angle of peace, this angle of justice. Explore this angle of peace and justice in your curriculum, because that is a title that is given: Peace, Justice, Strong Institutions, integrating peace and justice into the curriculum and fostering a culture of ethics and integrity. Ethics and integrity, I will come to it a little later, but how do we integrate this in the curriculum? Whenever I go to class, first 5 minutes, we keep quiet. We don't do anything. We just remain quiet. How do we remain quiet? By observing the calm, by observing the stillness, the sound of the fan, the sound of the AC, or even if somebody is sneezing, or somebody is walking on the third floor or second floor, their sound, somebody, some birds chirping, or somebody, some dogs, they bark on the road, or a lorry or a truck which is blaring their horn and going. We start observing these things. We don't get disturbed. We start observing. Then what? In that state of mind, which is exactly, we did not do anything. I only tell them that remain quiet. Don't shake your body. Just remain quiet. Observe the stillness. And then slowly we become conscious of ourselves, conscious of the surroundings. The moment we become conscious, the moment we become mindful, the moment we become aware, you become total. You become full. What happens then? The moment you become aware, conscious, and mindful, you become total, full, and complete. The moment you become total, complete, and full, you will know the value of peace for yourself and you will also know the value of peace for others. Because that state of peace which you are enjoying, you don't want anyone to disturb that. As a result of it, you also will not go and disturb others. Even if someone makes a noise, I have seen in my class sometimes, suddenly somebody sneezes, it bursts, and everybody laughs, everybody smiles, giggles. They feel because they are already in their state of control. Now, why I'm saying this, introducing peace in the curriculum, this is experiential peace, not just intellectually discussing all the time. It doesn't help. Okay, we can discuss what is peace, what is the definition of peace according to this, according to that. Fine, then what? We need to experience. It is as simple as I'm talking, I'm from this state, I'm from Tamil Nadu. I know there is one nice sweet I can make. What is the name of it? I'm telling the name of it. You don't know what it is, how it would taste. I keep on explaining about it. You will ask me, sir, please give me a bowl of that sweet one. Then we will know what is that. You need experience. So, to introduce peace in the curriculum, to introduce peace in the law school, practice peace for yourself from within first. Practice peace for yourself from within first implies not disturbing others and not allowing anyone to disturb your state of peace. It is such a position. It is such a power. You need to keep in mind. Then the whole understanding comes from the experience of the peace itself. This is a very, very important situation in a class, in a curriculum, in a teaching, in academics. Let me ask a question to all of you. Where is the chat? How do I put a question? Now, 74 people are there. I'm just going to ask you a very simple question. How many of you, having listened to me for close to an hour, agree with me, disagree with me? Tell me. You can put thumbs up or whatever emotions you want to put. Maybe you all are in a state of peace or what? Okay, it's coming now. I think they are so peaceful, they don't want to be disturbed. Is it coming? Okay. There are a few coming. In chat also you can put. Dr. Kalpesh, does chat work for all? Madam Mona, can they put a message
Yes,
in the
Dr.
chat?
Bharat, can you check chat?
yes, sir, it is working.
Yeah.
One message from Upasana saying yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, there is one more. Lot of hands are coming. Okay. The point here is that please keep in mind, I teach professional ethics for final year students. It's one of the most interesting subjects. What does that say? Section 35 of the Advocates Act says very clearly, anyone who is complaining, the Bar Council, on receipt of a complaint from anyone that this particular advocate has committed a misconduct. Now, what is that misconduct? Law Commission and court, they are still struggling to explain what is that. They say absence of this, absence of that, treating everybody with dignity, this, that. They're explaining everything except the definition of what is a misconduct. They say it is nothing but upholding the dignity of the profession. Okay, if you don't uphold the dignity, is misconduct. Is that what they mean by? But what is upholding the dignity is not explained. That will be subject to case by case understanding each and every circumstance. Now tell me, the 7 lamps of advocacy by Abbott Perry, the famous book, The 7 Lamps of Advocacy, which you all must have studied. In that, there is this lamp of honesty, there is this lamp of judgment, fellowship, wit, industry, hard work, tact. So many lamps are given, values are given. Behind all these values, what is it? One value which can bind all these values? Peace. Once one when loses peace, for example, the first Bar Council of India Code of Conduct says that you are supposed to behave in a dignified way before the court. How will you behave dignified? Does it mean that you wear a coat and suit and perfume and nice stand? And no. What do you mean by the term dignity? It is a state of composure. It is a state of a harmony within oneself. You know my client is here. You know my opponent advocates are there. You know the judges before me on the dais. You know there is a public crowd watching, looking at me. I'm aware of all these things. When I'm aware of the judge who is who is before whom I'm standing, when I'm aware of the bench, when I'm aware of the opponent, when I'm aware of the witness, when I'm mindful of the society which is watching, when I'm conscious of the constitution, the legal system, and so on. That means I'm in a state of peace, observing all these things. Unless you are in a state of peace, you will not be able to observe all these things. I used to explain this in a different way. If you are not in a state of peace, can you drive car on the traffic ridden road? Drive and see what happens. Very scary. It will not only injure you, you will injure so many people. It's a misconduct. It's a negligence, rash driving. You injure yourself, you injure others. You need to be in a state of peace. Similarly, the integrity of a professional, an advocate, or a counsel, or a corporate, or anybody, he must be in a state of a composure. He must be in a state of preventing the chaos coming from outside, or he must also be in a state in which he is positively expanding his state of cool and calm. Similarly, if a teacher does that, what is the impact of it? Tell me. I tell you, what you would explain for 5 classes, you can explain it in 1 class. I've always been telling, I do a lot of FDPs, workshops, values, skills, spirituality, ethics, integrity, lot of workshops. We keep telling all teachers must learn to develop the state of peace. Because you will be spending half of the energy of what otherwise you are just standing and talking, losing your cool, struggling to explain things. So, to add peace in the curriculum, you need to bring the peace in yourself as well as in the class, because peace is an experiential thing. If it is something of an economic thing, I can show it. Yeah, this mobile phone is this. Economic justice is very possible. Yeah, this phone everybody should have. Economic. Oh, we all should sit together. Social justice without discrimination. Social, economic, political, all that is fine. But what about psychological peace? Peace is psychological. So, to come back, when we talk of peace which is coming from outside, not disturbing us, or you are able to prevent it, it is just the peace in relation to absence of disturbance. Clear? It's very important. Somebody is raising hand, Dr. Kalpesh. Does he want to say anything on Dr. Muhammad Salim? He's raising hand. You want to
Yes,
say something? Yes, please tell
Dr.
me.
Muhammad Salim. Yes, yes. Dr. Muhammad Salim, are you there?
Very good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good
Am
afternoon.
I audible?
Yes, yes, please tell me.
Yes, sir. That you were discussing about the ethics and the classroom teaching. That is a very interesting for the law students. That how we have to maintain all the dignities, class dignities, and the discipline in our classes. But as to the young students, they are very engaged on the OTT platforms. The technology has entered into their life. So how we can make an attractive class? That is my simple question to you. You have deliberated the various constitutional mandate, the right to equality, dignity to all we are as a solemn of this nation. But as to the technology is impacting the young minds, and what is the remedies for us as a teacher that we can go through?
Very good question. So before we tell anything to the students to follow or not follow, we need to be practicing that in an experiential form. Otherwise, the communication will not reach. It's very simple. Because after a point of time, when you are communicating something which is going to be something new to the other side of it, in order to receive whatever that you are going to say to me, something which is new to me, I am actually open. I will be open. But the thing that which is going to come is just not only an intellectual preaching, it should also be a teaching based on the experience, because behind your words, it's also your own human energy which gets communicated. What exactly happens in a learning environment between a teacher and a student? I am going to class, hundreds of students are sitting, I am talking. What happens at that point of time? I am actually talking, but behind the talking or in the talking, there are some words, there are some meanings which I am making through sentences, but behind that, it is my own energy, my own consciousness, my own awareness, my own mindfulness, which is getting translated or traveling in the thought waves. Suppose if we both are meeting together, me and Dr. Mohammed, we are meeting and sitting together and talking. If I'm going to talk something which is not experienced by me, but if I'm just talking, you will obviously know that I am blabbering. You will obviously know. Though I can use very nice words, though I can use very good sentences, statements, in a human relationship, when two people come together face to face each other, and when they talk or when they interact, what happens is that at the instinctive level, the experience gets communicated. You will obviously know. Suppose if Dr. Mohammed is teaching, say, subject, say, IPR. I have not studied IPR at all. Or just like that, I just picked up some material from Wikipedia, from Google, I just read it a little bit. And if I start speaking to you about IPR, which you are teaching for 10 years and your PhD is on IPR for 10 years, you will obviously know that I am not having the experience of what I'm speaking. Which means when you are wanting to convey an experience which is essential to you, which is fundamental to you, which is very important to you, you must be having that experience so that they get it. Otherwise, it will not go. Especially on a subject or a theme which is psychological in nature, we need to be 200% careful. That's why morals, when it is preached, there is a backlash. Because you are trying to dictate me without giving me the experience of what it is. So, if you want to make an impact to the students who are, say, in a particular state of mind or a particular frame of activity, be it the social media, this, that, and all those things, in order to bring their attention back to yourself, you must have a complete attention over yourself. You must have a complete peace and control over yourself, so that when you speak, what you speak, that experience will transfer to this set of students and they will actually take it from you and they will open up before you. Did you get, Dr. Mohammed? Does it make sense? Are you there?
Thank you, sir, for your introduction and answering the question. Thank you, sir, so much.
But does it make sense? Hello? So that's how it is. So when we are, suppose if I'm teaching technology law to you, and I'm zero in handling technology, you will obviously know this guy is speaking something which he doesn't know. So whatever that we want students to know, students to experience, we must be having that as an experience, as a point of a knowledge. Only then when you talk, talking is only a medium. Suppose if I tell my mother, I know how to cook, and if I start cooking, within 2 minutes she will know, Param, you don't know cooking. You are doing something else. How does she know? She can just see few things because she has an enormous experience of having cooked for many years. So she will obviously know what you are doing is wrong. It's experiential. So teaching after a point of time is nothing but an experiential transfer of knowledge. That is what is called teaching. The olden days of teaching that I have some information, I can give it to you, are all gone. In this internet era, digital space, we don't think we can teach by giving an information. That era is gone. We need to teach not only information, but also with inspiration, with a practical intelligence to reach out to people, how they will receive it. That's the crux. So, how much time is left, Dr. Kalpesh?
We can half an hour, sir.
Okay. Now, slowly is to professional. The other title given was also on integrity and fostering culture of ethics and integrity. How do we foster culture of ethics and culture of integrity? So, we all know ethics is important. We all know integrity is important. These are values. But how do we bring those values into a daily operative strategy? It is through a thing called skill. So when you have a value, that value will have a value only when you know how to operate that value. That operating that value is what is called a skill. I have very good teak wood in my house. I want to make a nice chair out of it. Yes, teak wood is very good for making chairs. But how do I make it? I don't have a skill. So you need a carpenter who has the skill to do it. So value alone is not important unless and until that value is translated in the form of a practical skill. So the ethics and integrity which we are talking about in legal profession for law students and so on, it must be translated in the form of a skill. So the question is, when you say a particular value, it is about what? What is that value? If we say honesty is very important. So if you ask me what is honesty, I can tell that honesty is nothing but not cheating. Honesty is nothing but giving my service with utmost sincerity. But in my action and the conduct, that honesty is not reflecting means what? If it is not reflecting means it is not getting translated in the form of a skill while doing it. So a value of ethics, a value of integrity can be successful only when that value is made operative. The operationalization of a value is skill. Skill is nothing but how you make that particular value operate. That is what is called skill. So, all over the world now, in the education, they speak about skilling. Skill is important. Everywhere people are talking about skills. So what is that skill? Skill means bring the value into a procedure, into a process, into a structure, so that it is useful. So how do we do that? So whenever you are teaching a value in your respective curriculum, you should make it very practical and connect it with the life situation. And then you should make them do things. While doing things, the doing is what is called skill. Now, a skill consists of 5 things. This is my last theme for today. So please pay attention what I am saying. Skill consists of 5 things. 1, thought skill. Thought. And 2, feeling skill. 3, the emotion skill. And 4, the sense skill. And 5, the body, the physical skill. Which means a value can be operationalized using these 5 stages of the skill or 5 aspects of the skill. Some people are very good in explaining what that value is about intellectually, thought skill. Some people are very good in explaining that value in terms of feeling, in terms of motivation. Some are very good in explaining the value in terms of an emotion. Some are very good in terms of bringing a practical aspect to that value in terms of sense, direct action. Some can bring the skill, bring the value in the form of a skill while actually physically manifesting it. You can see that. Go to any court, observe an advocate, a leading advocate. Yes, anybody? Somebody was raising hand, I think. So, someone can explain skill intellectually. Someone can explain the feelings aspect of it, the empathy aspect of it, the motivation aspect of it. Someone can explain the emotion aspect of it. Somebody can explain the sensory aspect of it. Someone can explain the physical behavioral aspect of it. We all teachers have that. Some are excellent communicators in terms of problem solving. Some are excellent communicators in terms of motivating. You can motivate. Some are excellent communicators in terms of bringing sense. It stirs, sudden inspiration comes. We all understand suddenly something else. Some can bring a physical form to it. You know, there is this pro bono work done by Dr. Kalpesh. If you study deeply inside, what is that pro bono? They want to know how law is in action. Some can understand law. Some can feel law. Some can have an emotion for justice, a bhav. Some can have a sense of how things are moving. Some can put things in place, get onto the field and do things. So, you all do internships. You observe yourself. Which aspect is most important for you in your internship that you are doing? So, to bring a value into a skill, you will be employing any of these from the five. And you will be successful in bringing that value into a skill if you apply all the five. I know how to get into the court and file a complaint and petition and go ahead. I can communicate to the judge intellectually, section wise, provision wise, case law wise. I can make a huge impact in the court or before the client, the motivation, the emotion involved, or I can make a good sense of things in the court to arrive at justice. We all have been given these five skills. We have five sensory network, right? Thinking, sensing, feeling, touching, hearing, tasting, viewing. They all are different skills. If you bring all these things, it becomes very easy. Otherwise, they think that, oh, ethics and integrity is some kind of a moral, some kind of an intellectual debate. In my class, I used to say this. For me, ethics, professional ethics is about, number one, no harm principle. You can't say my ethics is different from your ethics. One man's ethics is not another man's ethics. My moral is different from your moral. What is moral for you may not be moral for me. These are all good discussions that we can have, maybe while having a chai. But you can't have that discussion you can't have that discussion and create an injury and saying that, no, my injury is different from your injury. You can't say like that. You can't injure anybody. It's a no harm principle. So, when it comes to ethics, when it comes to integrity, you cannot avoid all the five sensory acuity of thought, of feeling, of emotion, of sensation, and body. And that is the best way to bring value to your own values. And that's the best way to operationalize the value in the form of a skill. So before I come to the conclusion, I would like to take some questions, if there are any questions.
Okay, participant, any questions from your side? You can raise your hand. Any participants? So, like, any thought on related interdisciplinary approach in peace and other discipline, like peace will relate to law or maybe economics or maybe sociology or maybe what's your thought on that?
Yeah, this is exactly what I explained. Peace from outside, peace from within. It's basically an interdisciplinary. It's basically psychology and law.
Yeah, and so academic approach, any like with any other like,
For
academic
example,
discipline?
peace. Yeah,
Yes.
peace and sociology is what we discussed. Directive principles of state policy. See, peace and international law. Peace and family law. Peace and settlement of disputes. All these are there. Law, in my understanding, law by its very nature is itself interdisciplinary. Law by its very nature is cross-disciplinary and multidisciplinary. But most of the times, we misunderstand law into something like a statutory thing. I think there are some people who are raising hands.
Yeah, NK Thiruveni,
Yes.
Dr. Sakuntala Gowda.
Yes, please, you can put on the
Yes,
video
sir.
and talk.
One by one,
I'm
Dr.
N.K. Triveni, assistant professor from Government Law College, Madurai. Sir, I attended your lecture already previously. I know your lecture very well, that how it will impact others who are hearing that about peace, the jurisprudence in jurisprudence and everything. And I want to put a specific question here, that to maintain the institutional peace, what are the suggestions you are suggesting for in administrative side? For administration, to maintain the peace of the institution, what are the steps they could perform?
Okay, it's a very, very interesting question and very important. The first step is to start from oneself. One, we need to do it ourselves first. And number two is to talk about it. Why I'm saying talking about it is we need to be very open. We need to first talk. There is an absence of peace. There is so much of discordance. There is so much of disharmony. We all need peace. Why? A teacher is someone who is peaceful by nature. But because of so many things, we get into all kinds of discussions and gossip and politics, and we lose our peace. Our mind will not work afterwards. A teacher's mind is something which is like a tranquil, still lake in which the rays of the morning sun can go deep into the ground, or like a rays of the silver moon, they go so deep. If the waters are chaotic, then you will not be able to reflect. So my suggestion is always that whenever I go to university with a state of peace, I just remain calm. Even if I lose my peace, we need to do daily fine tuning, like how we tune the radio. It can't be just like that, every day we eat, every day we brush our teeth, every day we take bath, every day we like to go to university with a nice dress. Similarly, every day we need to work for peace within oneself first. Then once you start working in your own self, in one's own self, when we work to get that peace, automatically it gets reflected. Even if it is not getting reflected, at least you are at peace to talk about the absence of a peace. If you are losing peace and talking about the absence of peace, then it becomes you are multiplying it. But my experience is that human nature biologically is trained in peace. You know how? Tell me, is there anyone in this whole earth who doesn't want a sound, good sleep?
Sir, I
Sleep is,
couldn't hear that.
sleep is nothing but a state of peace.
Pardon.
It's a beautiful state of peace.
Because the frequency is reducing.
So sleep is a beautiful state of peace. So everyone knows that they want peace. but somebody has to initiate. It is just like a candle being lighted. We need to carry it. Yeah, initially we may face ridicule. People will say, what are you doing? Why are you so silent and solemn? People will say that. Let them say. But they also know that they need the same thing that which you have. Then a regular meeting of like-minded people coming together and sitting together in a quiet. It's very, very powerful. If in say, for example, if you 5 people come to my house and right now sit inside in this room where I am sitting, if I start observing peace or remaining quiet, calm, you will slowly observe, oh, this guy is quiet, this guy is calm, this guy is still, which means what? You are also recognizing the state of peace. And if I continue, you will also continue. And then it slowly spreads. It is a ripple effect, a contagious effect that comes into it. So we need to practice that. Small groups to sit together in silence for some time every day in the office space. 5 minutes. I normally used to say, yes, today I will go to Kalpesh cabin. We all will go, like-minded people will sit in this room for 5 minutes. We won't talk. If you want, you can close your eyes. Another day, we all will go to Dr. Mona's cabin and sit. Another day, we will go to Dr. Muhammad Salim's room and sit for 5 minutes. And slowly, it is a vibration which catches. And the peace comes.
Next question, Dr. Shakuntala.
Thank you,
Sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Shakuntala Gowda.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I am
Yes, good
her Dr. Sakuntala, and Professor Federal Law College. So my question is that peace and justice are totally different from each other. I think peace, according to person to person, peace is a different, and justice is also. We know that there is a political, economic, and social justice, but we can't impart justice to all of them because wants are unlimited. At the same time, our judicial proceeding. So how can we will cope up with the student of our classroom that they are mainly thought that how we are earning much more than because this is a competition era, and also this AI is also what they don't have a patience to listen anything. How to get more and more money? That is their motive. How will we will go to cope up with all these problems?
See, when a problem comes, it is very difficult to handle. But then we should know how to handle it. Your question is very genuine. If I go to class and people are not listening because they are getting distracted here and there, the answer I gave to someone else before, the same answer. What you want others to have, what you want others to experience, you must first experience in yourself. It is not an intellectual talking. It is not just in putting PPT or just explaining something. See, there is one state of peace, there is one state of justice, there is one state of well-being, which is common and universal for all. But its output can be different. For me, peace can be sitting quietly in the chair still. For somebody else in my house, peace can be doing the work peacefully without getting disturbed. But they will be doing the work. But they also look for peace. The output of the peace, the expression of the peace can change from person to person. I agree what you said. But everybody is wanting peace. So what you need to do is you need to practice this idea of peace and this idea of justice by communicating it experientially. Suppose if I go and teach professional ethics to students and I talk about how legal profession ought to be. If somebody asks me a question exactly on legal profession, on how to go to court, CPC and CRPC or Advocates Act, I should be able to answer that. Not only answer intellectually, but also help him to understand where he has not understood and where he is missing that point. That much I should be patient enough to go deep. Then what happens? he feels, oh, okay, this guy is listening to me and he is understanding. Then the relationship, the rapport develops. If it is with one person, it can happen with many persons over a period of time. So what is most important is that in a teaching, please keep this in mind. What you have said is very clear. The modern teaching is going to be only experiential teaching. No more bombastic, flowery words. Nothing is going to work. Every student, everyone who is sitting in my class, they exactly know what I know. But when what I make the difference, I communicate with the experience because I'm much ahead in my life experience. I'm much ahead in my professional experience, which they don't have. That advantage we have being a teacher. That advantage we have being an elder. So you should leverage that particular point. You got it?
Okay, sir. So thank you.
Thank you. Somebody else also.
Okay. Any other participant would like to ask any questions? Upasna Singh.
Sir, good
Hello.
afternoon. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please over to you.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So this is Upasna from Centurion University. So my question is a little different from the question. Wanted to know that there were many scriptures which have been revealed to us. So nowadays, is it actually possible that knowledge is actually revealed?
Very, very. I teach this for 6 months. You're asking me in one question. It's very difficult. Okay. You mean to say that you have asked a question that is it possible to get the knowledge directly from the scriptures? Is it this that what your question is? Because you have used the word reveal, something like this.
Yes, sir. That like something which we have not strategically studied, but we actually want to understand it.
Okay. So
So, like, how do we get that knowledge exactly? But we have not. Yes,
yeah.
I mean that's a very different concept. Yes, sir.
No, it's not. It's a very, very these kind of questions I expect. See, it is as simple as this. Suppose you are in one state, I'm in one state. Suppose if I have to come and meet you, you give me an address and I put it in the GPS and I follow it. I don't know the address, but I am following it. So the point is, when we want to experience anything, when we want to acquire any new knowledge, the process has to be initiated. During the process, you cannot immediately expect the knowledge to come. But you need to understand this process is actually a step-by-step stage towards the discovery of the knowledge. So which means to answer your question, yes, if you want to experience any knowledge directly, it is possible. It requires a stage by stage, step by step, baby steps approach. 2, you must have the patience and perseverance to go through. And 3, you must faith that you will arrive at it. These things, time, work, faith. Tell me, you must have learned riding a bicycle. You never knew how to ride a bicycle. You saw somebody riding a bicycle. My God, what a balance. How easy I am riding a bicycle like this. So somebody put you on the bicycle. You don't know how the balance would be. But you wanted it, but you did not have it. But you actually sat on the cycle and pushed it with the idea that you are going to move. But the moment you think that no, I will not have it, then you will fall. So somewhere inside in your consciousness, there is a movement which takes place, what is called trusting it and letting it go in that flow. 2, 3 times it comes, and then next time you learn, oh, I did like this, something happened. Again, I will try, again it happens. Again, I try, it happens. And suddenly you get the knowledge. So the issue is when we want to have the knowledge, we want to have the knowledge before that knowledge comes to us is actually a tricky thing. We cannot have it. See, it is just like you are making rice in the cooker. Can you check every second, open the cooker and check whether the rice is made or not? No, you have to let it go. You have put the whistle, you have put the water, you have washed the rice and then put it, you have set the gas light, and it's cooking, and you have to wait for 15 minutes. It happens. So sometimes the process has to be initiated, and when the process is moving, you just have to trust and let go, and then it comes. At that point of time, you cannot be doubting whether I will get or not, whether I am getting it or not, whether I am moving towards that or not. Those kind of doubts that come, keep the doubts, not a problem. But that should not occupy and disturb the process that is happening in the movement. See, for example, I have to give this lecture today to Manipal University. I just thought how I have to give a lecture, and I thought I want to give something totally new. How it will happen, I am actually leaving it moment to moment with the trust. Because I am also seeing the audience response and I am just managing it. That trust has to be there. And if I start doubting, oh my God, I have to give this lecture, I don't know whether I will be able to do it or not. I'm fearing. That means all the fear will occupy my mind and I will not be able to give the lecture. I will be blabbering. There may be initial hiccups. I may be starting a little slow, creating the heat, creating the momentum. Fine. But I have to let it go. We all have done that. Upasana Singh, we all have done this method, but we are not conscious of that. Take the case of artists, especially students I watch in my university. They come to the stage and then they just, just give some guitar or drums or they're singing. They just simply make some noise, something. Suddenly it picks up. So what is that? It is that spontaneity in which the process, the means towards an end. If you are questioning the means, then you will not go towards the end. There is a popular joke in my language. They say that inside the train, don't run, thinking that you will run fast. No, train goes in the speed in which you will reach the destination. You cannot run inside the train and then say that, no, I want to go fast. No, you can't do that. Or else you just get down from the train and you run if you want. Those you will at least know that I am running and reaching the destination or not. So once you have taken the process, once you have initiated a means, between the means and towards the end, that's why in research methodology, we teach one thing called aim and outcome. Many times I have seen people put research objectives, what is that? Research questions towards the hypothesis, and then they are not coming to the conclusion at all. They don't know how to conclude. Sometimes they do a lot of research and they ask me, sir, what do I do now? I said, you have done the research, matter over. Move ahead. No, I don't know how to conclude. No, they have actually concluded. They are not conscious of it. Or they did not know how to conclude it. So somewhere what happens is that they get lost. So here what comes to your help is that being mindful, being conscious, being aware of both the aim and the outcome. Then when you are moving, and then when you reach the outcome close by, you will know, oh, okay, I'm reaching, because you are conscious of the process. Does it make sense?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Another question, Dr. Rifat.
Yes,
Khan.
yes, a very good afternoon, sir. So my name is Rifat and I'm from Kerala. Sir. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
So thank you so very much for this talk today. Talking about peace in a turbulent time that we are facing now in Kerala, actually, and around the world also. Talking about peace and trying to find peace in what you said was much needed actually today. And thank you so very much for that. So it's not a question, but I just want to find, because now we are in a world where we are, in a situation, we talk about diversity, right? So in diversity, we have not just one issue. So we face diverse kind of issues, whether it's a professional on the professional front, whether it's on the personal or at the societal level, or if you look at the world around. So, in that situation, how to attain peace when you are surrounded by multiple issues around, and or how to bring balance, in that situation. So that's what I want to know. Thank you.
A very, very important question. Since I teach final year students, I always face this question. So how to bring peace into our life? So if peace is the value, and to bring peace is nothing but the skill. So how do we do that? As I said, skill consists of five elements: the thought, the feeling, the emotion, the sensation, and the body. So at all the 5 levels, you start working. So when you start thinking about peace, reading about peace, not only that, just feel how it would be. Wow, this piece is so nice. I know what it is. I can feel what it is. Then bring it in the emotion, then bring it in the sensation, and bring it in the body. I'm giving you a psychological understanding of our spiritual understanding and bringing the peace. So our human nature, our brain, the central nervous system and the physical nervous system and the 5 sensory network is trained evolutionarily that way. So when you think, what does it mean? When you think, you are triggering through the central nervous system, the physical nervous system, whereby the neurons, they give signal. For example, I'm suddenly thirsty. I'm sitting and talking last 2 hours. If I'm feeling thirsty, I don't need to give a command. When I feel thirsty, my hand automatically goes to the left side of my table and picks up the water. I don't tell, oh hand, go and take the water. It is there in the glass tumbler, you go and drink. And now swallow. It doesn't say that. It's automatic. Which means what? When we think, we release neurons in the brain. And from there, the physical nervous system takes the command and it goes on. Similarly, when we feel, it creates the emotions. Similarly, when we emotionally feel, it creates the sensation. And similarly, the sensation is not that wrong sensation. Sensation is a good one. Sense. It brings in the body a state of peace. So, to bring peace within oneself, you work on your thought, read about it, and close your eyes and feel for it, how it would be. And not only feel for it, go a little deeper into emotion by giving that peace to others or sharing that with 1 or 2 people who are near and dear to you, and then make them feel that sense of peace you carry. The sense of peace is nothing but an energy that is there in the body, and then finally you have it in your body. So this process may take, say, if you practice, for some people it can come within few days, for some people it takes a little longer time. It depends upon your body, your sense, how it works, your emotion, how it is structured, your feelings, how it is to be reframed, and your thoughts, disturbed thoughts being removed, and then keep the flow of thoughts in a sync, rhythm, harmony. And if you start doing it, it comes. So rest is just a matter of practice and time. It does come.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Does it make sense?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any other last questions? So you can take up one. We will take taking only last questions. Anything? Any remarks or any views? Sorry. So let me
Hello.
answer. Ask last. Yeah, please.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sunita Abhay Jain, sir. Sir, adding to Rifat ma'am's question, you gave us the answer that at the individual level, we can bring in peace by adjusting all our sensory, the thought process and all those skills. But I have one question, like, does it work at the organizational level? Because nowadays I feel that we are moving more towards absence of peace rather than peace. There's a trend, we see a lot of disturbances, we see a lot of cases or multiplicity of proceedings are there. So what is your take, like how we can sort this problem and what are the factors which are responsible for this? And also the solutions, what we can, have. Thank you, sir.
See, solution has to be at a multi-pronged level. So, but to bring the first question, how do we achieve peace within ourselves? It looks slightly easier because we are in a zone in which nobody can come and disturb me. I have switched off the calling bell. So I'm just, but I know once I open the door, I don't know how many are waiting outside. Milk must have come, postman must have come, courier must have come. I don't know. I have to go and see. But when we step out of ourselves and when we enter into a larger collectivity, this practice of peace in the collectivity has not happened because we have not included that in the curriculum. We have not brought that in our academics. We have one of the biggest mistakes that the modern education has done is that we have removed or cut the spiritual elements of human life from education and from society. And we said that it is actually a personal affair. Okay, it is a personal affair, but its impact has to be there. A child spends from morning 9 to evening 5 in a different atmosphere in the school or a college or a university. We don't talk about that. Where is the problem? What is the problem that we all can talk about peace from every religion, from every tradition, from every sampradaya? There is not going to be any difficulty. So, the biggest mistake that has happened in the modern education is that we have cut the spiritual elements from education, from academics, from research. Leave even the spiritual elements. We have even cut the psychology elements from law. Law students and legal academics is going without the understanding of psychology. Tell me, if law is about regulating social behavior, how can you regulate social behavior without regulating the human behavior? How is it possible? Ultimately, every court case that comes into, every advocate who faces a particular case is basically a psychological disturbance that has happened between two individuals, one from within and one from outside. But we have not even given scope for that in our education. So to bring values in education is very, very important. That's why in Gujarat National University, I am very lucky. My vice chancellor and my team of colleagues, when I introduced the law, religion, spirituality, justice, values, skills, psychotherapy, neurology, hypnotherapy. Yeah, initially I had difficulty because I need to convince people in such a way. The students are also wondering how it could be taught. But then over a period of time, I developed my own expertise in that field. I studied a lot from different universities. I thought I would study all those things at the age of 65 after retirement. Fortunately or unfortunately, something called COVID came. So we all had to be in the house for 3 years, 4 years. So during that time, I enrolled and studied a lot, all that I wanted to study. So we need to bring back, by bringing it back in our individual life. We have to speak this language. People should know, oh, okay, this
Thank you
teacher.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for that insightful talk.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, participant, for your great questions. So, Param sir, I think this is the last question, last session for the program, and then on behalf of organizing committee, I am thankful to you. As I told you in the beginning, like when this program came to me, so related to resource person. First, the topic did because I cannot think any resource person like except you for this particular topic. You were also there in FDPs, like last couple of FDPs. It's very maybe heavy for most of the participants and teachers, students and research scholars also. But again, it will take some time. Like we have LLM subject, law and justice in globalizing world, that we didn't study. We did study law and social transformation in India. So that was a subject in our masters. So I have not seen the syllabus also, let me tell you. But again, some of the participants, the faculty, they must be teaching. So you can try to include some principle in that particular subject while teaching. Now, obviously, Param sir is there, so you can take his guidance. So, and many subject, I think, sir, almost 1,800 students, they take your this subject, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, my law, religion, spirituality, justice, this psychotherapy, all those things, I offer it only on elective basis. I don't impose it on others.
Yeah.
Still
So
180
start
students for it, close to 180 come.
180. Oh, and started with how many students, sir?
7, 8 years back, it started with 25. Now it has reached 180.
180. Okay.
So
Great.
yeah, we can see we need patience, we need perseverance, and we also need humility to learn from everyone. This is a subject which is something very, it's not a linear thinking that this is what it is, a plus b is this. No, it is not this. It's something that has to come from within. Don't keep on putting effort to it. So it does happen. In fact, law and justice in a globalizing world is one of the subjects I teach for LLM, since you mentioned.
Yes, sir. Yes, a couple of students, they approached me, sir is teaching. When I posted your poster yesterday, so they reached out to me teaching. So yes, there are two students. My student, they did LLB and now doing LLM at GNLU. So they told me that obviously nobody like teaching. You are also teaching there that particular subject, maybe from other faculty also. So thank you very much, sir. On behalf of organizing committee, I'm grateful to you for sparing your valuable time. And participant, you can also reach out to sir at any point of time. So sir may guide you dealing with particular subject, maybe this LLM, this the compulsory paper, maybe elective that you like to think. And sir is keep offering 1 to 2 programs in a year, right? So you can also get the benefit and then try to develop maybe seminar course or elective course at your particular institutions. So thank you.
Before that, let me also thank the university for giving me this
Thank
wonderful
you.
opportunity, to Professor
Thank
Dr. Mariam Mishrat and Professor Dr. Mona and Kalpesh. I'm very happy and thankful to every one of you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And all the participants, you can always contact me. As Dr. Kalpesh has said, that I offer 2 to 3 training programs every year. So one is basically exclusive FDP for faculties, in which I teach a lot of techniques and so on. One is about skills, which I do, which is currently happening from August 6th onward. The skills workshop is going on. What is a skill? What is a value? Which is required for law students, law teachers, PhD scholars, corporates. So many join, and that is a very successful program I do. I don't teach that. I teach only skills, how to do things. Afterwards, it's your life that you discover for yourself, but I give you the essential skills. Similarly, on spirituality also, I teach based on skills, and ethics also, I do it based on skills. And also a lot of other different programs I do, sharing that knowledge, whatever that I have gained, I give it. So you all are free to contact me. You all are most welcome. My number is with Dr. Kalpesh. My email is also there. With the university, you can contact me. And thank you very much. And it was wonderful meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sure. Yeah. So thank you. The participant now will be taking spending 10 minutes maybe for the oral feedback, and would like to say something related to program, like any remarks or any experience. Please unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and then say something that you want to say. Yes. Any participant?
Can I leave, Dr. Kalpesh?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
I have one meeting. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, any participant would like to say something? Obviously, we'll be floating feedback from in 10-15 minutes. So before that, we can have some feedback from your side. Yes, please.
Dr. Kalpesh, can I
Yes,
give
please.
feedback?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
This entire program has been very meticulously organized. It started on time, it ended on time. If Purvi Madam had some prior commitments, you informed us priorly, and the content was very informative. Yesterday's session will help me to plan on add-on sessions and add-on courses in my course. So I must really appreciate your effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other participants? Yes, anyone will be closing in next 10-15 minutes. Yes, anyone. Any thought or many things that comes to your mind? Yeah.
Sir, I would be really thankful for
Yeah.
the kind of topic this was chosen. I think that was one of a kind when we're talking about FDPs, because FDPs have been on a different topics, and that's very practical. But this one something which we really needed in all the universities, and taking note that the requirement, and it was not just theoretical and also kind of practical which we need apart from the studies which we generally do. So I'm really thankful for this kind of uh, you know organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Kalpesh, can I
Yes, yes,
share
yes.
something more?
Yeah, yeah.
See,
Please, please.
now one more trend which FDP programs are picking up, that as a part of our assignments, they ask us to submit an article and then they publish it with ISBN number or whatever is convenient to them. So for you continuously plan such programs. So it can be added on for future programs if you want. Like it is just a share thought which I'm sharing with.
Yeah, true, true, true. Thank you very much. This is very helpful. We will think over in future programs. Thank you. Yes, anyone last? We'll take up one and then we'll move forward for final vote of thanks. Yes, anyone? Okay, no problem. Yeah. Dr. Mona, over to you. If Bharti ma'am is there, you can chat it out.
Yes, sir. So, may I request Bharti ma'am for the valedictory note? So, I
Thank
welcome
you so
Bharti ma'am for the
much.
valedictory
Yes,
note. Yeah.
sure. Well, I guess the EDP has come to an end, and I'm sure all participants must have benefited from it immensely. I could hear the last session, and I could also look at a couple of responses and feedbacks. And I'm very glad to note that um, most of you have found it meaningful and are able to take back many of the lessons or many of the important kind of conclusions that were arrived at through the various sessions. So I believe the theme is, of course, on quality education, gender equality, and strong institutions based on SDGs 4, 5, 10, and 16. So there's enough that has been said. I'm not sure if the localization of SDGs was touched upon, but that's something which I feel is extremely relevant, especially from the point of view of any country, including India, where there are such vast numbers and such a diversity and such such so many states and so many different challenges. So there is the very imperative need to have a bottoms up approach on the issue of SDGs also. And SDGs, of course, there's a particular timeline to it, which is up to 2030. We are already in the middle of, the 2024. So it's a very short period of time that is left. And of course, there's been ample disturbance through the pandemic and through other, the climate change, which is happening at a very rapid speed. And we know SDG is basically, it's resting on the three limbs of the social, the environmental, and the economic, the kind of balance that is attempted through the enunciation of these goals. So talking a little more about SDGs at the local level, there is the importance of decentralizing, of devolving, of devolving, the goals into a kind of breakup into actionable, specific action, plans which can be really conducted at the local level, which means both the urban as well as the rural, because we tend to forget the rural in our quest for attaining these very significant and difficult goals. And of course, it means empowerment of communities. It means basic awareness, capacity building. So there is a lot which is involved really in adapting these goals, for the local purposes. I was quite impressed by the last session, which was conducted by Professor Parameswaran, and especially to his theme of peaceful lawyering, peace lawyering, as well as the experiential transfer of knowledge, which is now, the legal education as we talk about. So peace is really an attitudinal, it is a disposition. And something very interesting about peace is that it is not an opposite of violence. We usually bring out the significance of certain terms by contrasting words like black, white, good, evil. But peace is something, it's a quality which is attainable, and it is really independent of any other kind of, a kind of contrast or a contradiction. And so we talk about meditative peace, we talk about spiritual peace and elevated peace. And of course, from the internal, there's an external manifestation of peace in our professional lives, in our personal lives, and so on. So I guess there is enough content for us to absorb through these various lectures. I really wish each participant a very all the best for the forward journey in their respective career trajectories in whatever they are doing. And my special thanks to Dr. Kalpesh Gupta, who has been extremely instrumental in, putting together this program, and along with the experts. And of course, my thanks to my team, my colleagues, Dr. Mona and Dr. Mariam, Dr. Soni, Dr. Sonu. So everybody who's been an integral part of, putting this whole thing together. And of course, to the speakers, and finally to the participants who've been so patient in hearing out all these sessions, and who have participated very actively, interactively. Again, a sense of which I got through the various questions that were put here. So all the best for the future, and take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, may I request all the participants, please put on your camera for a group photograph. All the participants, please turn on your camera. Participant, please turn on your camera. Let's
You
have all of
are
you on
very
the screen quickly. Yes, a request to all participants to come up on the video screens.
we all are very beautiful actually. So just show the faces so we can remember it as a memory, good memory.
Yeah, we can see so many more who haven't put their the screens on. The request is, if you can do it quickly, then we can have a photograph, and then we can end the session.
I think we should take a picture.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
नहीं तो एक दो वो भी चले जाएंगे फिर.
Okay. Thank you so much. I have taken the picture. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muna. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Kalpesh sir. Thank you, Dr. Maria. And all participants. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Nice interacting with all of you.
Thank you very much.